Hi. I've been wanting to make a video about this for a long time, about the shills, and just to give my opinion on all of them, just so that it's out there, like what I actually do think about the shills. First of all, the word shill, calling them all shills. I guess that's something that comes from Prime in China and YGZ. And I guess those guys, that's where it comes from. And it's pretty funny. Like, I've always just seen it as like a pretty funny phenomenon. It hasn't ever like made me like start thinking seriously or pondering seriously the implications of what these guys are up to. But it still it still makes me laugh. I mean, I didn't really know what a shill was. I thought shill was some sort of like, I guess, obscure word that meant something completely different. Like, I thought shill was almost like a chill or something. I don't know. I thought it was like almost like a literary word or something that was popular like 200 years ago or whatever. So yeah, I wasn't familiar with the word shill. But yeah, I just thought, look, I am familiar with their work. I'm definitely familiar with their work. I am not going to admit which ones I'm a subscriber to, because I don't want to sort of give that away. But I am definitely familiar with some of their content. So when I'm talking about these people, I'm talking about Jayoe Nation and Guaylo 60. I've watched a lot of their content. I was a subscriber. I was a subscriber to Jayoe Nation, and I guess I'll talk about him first. But just generally, I'd like to say that everyone should just lighten up. Like, everybody should just lighten up. I think some of the people who have been called shills, they've started to feel really defensive about it, and they've started to feel really as if they're under siege or something. That's like the impression that I get. But as far as my thoughts are concerned, like, it's just a bit of fun. Like, people are having fun. I mean, when you go to that stage of your life where you're, like, I guess, promoting, and I've been doing it myself in a little way as well. I'm doing it now, literally doing it now. When you get to that stage in your life where you're promoting yourself on social media and you're making videos that feature yourself, it's normal that just people are going to come out of the woodwork and they're gonna make fun of you, and that's what it is. It's just a part of it. And the other thing I would say is, when you live in China for a long time or whatever, a lot of your views do change. Like, a lot of your views do change. If I was going back to Australia, if I was living in Australia now, and I said a lot of the things I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think that a lot of people would understand a lot of my opinions. They would think that I was someone who was, I guess, under the influence of of the Chinese authorities or something, and that's not just because, I mean, I don't really read any Chinese media, actually. I read the South China Morning Post sometimes, and that's it. I don't go to the People's Daily or the Global Times very often. I'll honestly, I'm just, I use other media. I'm interested in other media. I'll go to Australian media and stuff for my news stories. But a lot of my opinions have changed about a lot of different things, and there is probably like a gulf of, there is a bit of a difference between how people in Australia or people in America are viewing China as compared to your average like person who has lived in China for a long time. And that's really, really hard to articulate to people. It's really hard to articulate to people. And I think like what Jayoe is trying to do with his channel Nuance is just kind of like show, he's trying to explain like how he sees it, and look, he's entitled to do that, and he's a very successful YouTuber. When people have made comments on his channel and he's got angry, and he's even had some reaction videos where he's like, you know, where he's saying, "Give me a fucking break." It is sort of like, I guess that sort of inspired some people to just take the mickey out of him a bit more. But I think everyone who's lived in China understands just how your views have changed. And yeah, like, I mean, when people express opinions that I guess reveal themselves to be callous, or I guess to disregard the significance of every single human life and human dignity, I think like that's when people go a bit too far. And I think that's like, I wouldn't categorize like Jayoe and Guilo personally in the same category as someone like Nathan Rich. Nathan Rich, I think, has really just, you know, he's gone to that point where I think only a very small minority of Chinese people would agree with like a lot with some of the things he says. Like, I think he's pretty alone in some of his statements that he's made, and I think he's genuinely a callous individual, and I wouldn't categorize Jayoe Nation and Guilo 60 in that category. So what do I think of Jayoe Nation? I mean, look, he's a cool guy. He's done some really cool things. He's ridden his bike around the world, and I mean, you can make fun of that, but I've ridden my bike around parts of Australia, and I've ridden my bike hundreds of kilometers in China. I mean, I do respect what he's done there. I mean, he's taken all of his camera gear with him, and he's set up his shots, and he certainly deserves a bit of respect for what he's done. He certainly does deserve a bit of respect for what he's done. In terms of his, like, I guess, attacking other YouTubers, like attacking Serpent ZA and Lau86, and kind of like taking umbrage with some of their statements and stuff, he did kind of lose me there a little bit. I mean, like, for example, just getting straight into the specifics of it, the I Love Chongqing thing. I just found it really, really, really hard to believe that he would actually become emotional about that person from I Love Chongqing. I just found that to be really, like, unbelievable. So yeah, I mean, other people might have believed it, but I just couldn't believe that. I just didn't understand why he felt the need to confect that much emotion about that. I just didn't understand it. And I mean, look, it's kind of an insider's reaction video. Like, if you haven't seen that video, and you haven't followed it along, I mean, it's a big story. But basically, it was all about a trip that was partly funded or partly subsidized by a tourism agency, an official tourism agency or whatever. So I found that to be a bit strange, and yeah, some of his other reaction videos. But, you know, look, at the end of the day, fair enough. He wants to make a reaction video about showing the bathrooms are clean and all that kind of stuff. That's cool. I mean, that's what this is about. That's what YouTube's meant to be about. We're all supposed to be having fun, you know? Like, I mean, when you start going into bathrooms, and you got to remember what this is. I mean, he's a guy that's going into a bathroom and he's filming it. I mean, it is laughable. It's a laugh. It's all a bit of fun. It's not serious stuff at all. Now, moving on to Guilo 60. Guilo 60, I mean, he's a character. I think he's a character. I can sort of identify with Guilo 60. He sort of seems a bit like a lot of old Aussie guys that I've met who've come to China, and he's got a genuine, I do believe he's got a genuine love of the country, and he just obviously enjoys his lifestyle a lot, and he's a simple guy. I mean, in a sense, he likes walking around, having a beer, I think he gets. I mean, look, it's a bit arrogant of me, or a bit pompous of me to say that he gets confused or something. I'm not going to say that about another man, but I just think when he gets into like public, political science or foreign policy or something like that, I think he does have a tendency to sort of oversimplify everything. But again, I mean, it's his channel. It's his channel. He can do that if he wants to. G60 or Guelo 60, he shows a lot of footage. I mean, he shows a lot of cool stuff. I've genuinely enjoyed his content. I've genuinely enjoyed his content. But when he's inciting, or he's getting his followers to, he wants them to try and help ban certain YouTubers and whatever. I think he has gone a bit too far a few times. But he, as other YouTubers have pointed out, when he does go too far, and sometimes he does go too far, he deletes that content. He's got some sort of a awareness of when he has gone too far. Yeah. Now some of the others, like, look, Jerry Good. I mean, I've heard YGZ defend him and sort of say, well, look, he's not a stupid guy. He's a pretty smart guy. And yeah, that guy's a pretty smart guy. If you watch his videos, he's pretty good at capturing attention, and he's got a lot of views on his channel. He's a smart guy for sure. Is he a shill, or would you categorize him as a shill? People have got their different opinions. I mean, I don't even think the shill term is like a serious term. It's like boogaloo, isn't it? It's like or Antifa. It's just like something to call people. I think he's obviously a really smart guy, and some of his content's great. I mean, he's shown some really good stuff. And I used to live in Qingdao, so a lot of the places he goes to I'm familiar with. Hazza at China Vlogs. I mean, Hazza's an interesting guy because he has had a couple of videos where he's basically, in a sense, repeating. He sort of had the courage to just sort of say what he thinks about a lot of stuff, and he has a right to do that. But then a lot of people have come at that and they've said, well, like, come on, man, like, is that really what you think? And again, that's kind of like an accountability mechanism of YouTube. I can't honestly say that I've seen his. I haven't seen his political content, but I've seen some of his other content, and he's a genuinely nice guy. Like, pretty much every comment I've ever made about him, he's just like bang, and he just comments on it, and he wants to like have a discussion about it, and he's very civil. I mean, he expects others to be civil, but he's also very civil himself. Yeah, I mean, look, there are so many people. I mean, I've honestly never watched any Cyrus Jansen material. I mean, I just saw this guy. He just looked like this, yeah, I guess he just looked like this country club kind of guy. And, I mean, it doesn't interest me. Yeah, there's a few of those guys that I just haven't seen. But I just wanted to say what my opinion was about those particular people. And yeah, it is what it is. I got it off my chest then. And I think, like, at the end of the day, there should just be this bedrock, this foundation of like, this is fun, this is YouTube, this is cheeky, everyone's having a laugh. And if you've got thin skin, don't put your face on YouTube. Don't share your ideas on YouTube. Don't put your ideas onto YouTube. If you can't handle some blowback, if you can't handle some criticism, just stay out of it. Read a book. You don't have to necessarily put yourself out there. And the other thing that I think everyone understands who's like a long-term China person is your views do change. Your views do change. I mean, I generally have like, I don't think anyone who lives in China for a long time is crazy or just an agent of the Chinese government or anything like that. But your views do change. Your views do change. I'm not going to get specifically into it or whatever, but like I've got a lot of opinions now where if I shared those opinions, people would sort of be like, they'd think I'd taken a special pill or something. I mean, you know, and it is hard to explain to people when you've lived in China for a long time about why you feel like this or why you think like that. And yeah, maybe I'll make another video about that, but I probably won't win myself any friends. But that's all I wanted to say, and yeah, that's it. So thank you very much.